Welcome to the live stream. Brought to you by Rolex. No, I was joking, but anyways, let's continue. Today's lesson. Last time about sociopathy, a lot of you giving a thumbs down because it's kind of fucked up. You realize how accurate it is. Among my students, this time we're talking about Asperger syndrome. Aspergers, according to Tyler from RSD. Gonna learn a lot of shit. Let's get right into it. Why is this important for you? A lot of students who are RSD victims do have Aspergers. Autism, not Asperger's. I'm going to talk about the difference between the two. This is going to be very educational. So get out your notepads and write your notes. I don't care if nobody's here right now. In the future, you'll watch it. Like I said, John's just going to tell you guys the truth. The more you understand yourselves, the better you will be. So like I said, I don't really give a fuck if there's nobody here right now. I'm going to tell it like it is. All right, let's start with some traits. So if you look at Todd Valentine's face, he looks like in the coronavirus, he's aged by 15 years. But however, one thing you've noticed among the Aspies is that their facial expressions does not move when they talk. They'll be like, hey, how's it going with their face does not move. When you look at Todd Valentine, his face does not move except the eyebrows and the tonality. Hey, what's up? What's up? So the first trait of Asperger's is facial expressions does not change. Okay, so what's the second trait? So basically, for Todd Valentine, although he doesn't move his face, he's losing a lot of money because all his money is in boot camps. The second thing is that they have extreme monotone. So we should write some of these things down. So for Asperger's, it's not Aspergers like Asperger. It's Aspergers. Aspergers. No facial expressions. No facial expressions. Number two, monotone. And number three, screechy voice. I'll get into that in a second. You're going to start to realize. You're going to learn a lot from this. So number one, hopefully you can see that. I don't know why there's a reflection there. Ugh, fuck. This is even worse. Fuck. Oh, well. Hopefully you can kind of see that. All right. So the monotone, when you hear these guys talk, they talk like this. It's like their tone does not go up or down. It just sort of sounds like this. It just sort of like this. It just doesn't go up or it doesn't go down. There's no variation to it. So when I talk, right, I can actually hit various different notes. It goes up, it goes down. When it goes down, it goes a little bit slower, and I talk like that. And that kind of goes up sometimes. But for them, their entire speech is monotone. I get it. A lot of people got turned off last time. I get it. I don't care. I'm just going to tell people the truth of how the game really works. There is no theories involved. So number one, facial expressions, the lack of it. The face does not move when they talk. And you could tell this from other dating coaches. Number two is there's no the voice is monotone. Now they speak like this, and when they talk like this, and they talk like this, and they're monotone, just like Todd Valentine. Yeah, I speak like this, and whatever. That's how they speak like. So that's one type of Asperger's. And number three, they don't have eye contact. So I'm gonna make more eye contact. I don't even know where to stare at, but this is the camera. I'm gonna make more eye contact. But usually they don't make eye contact. You see a lot of left and right, especially with Elon Musk. He always moves his eyes left and right. He thinks, and he just looks at the people very briefly. Is this the camera? Yeah, this is. Does that look like I'm looking at you? Because I have no idea where to stare at. So number three, they don't make eye contact. So they'll try to sound technical, obsessive about a particular topic. So the number four, the trait is that they're narrow focused. Okay, narrow focused. Narrow focus. So they try to focus all their energy into one thing. For some people, It's kind of like Dagan, like Todd Valentine and stuff. But in reality, there's nothing that makes any sense because he has no testimonials. So you're starting to see the traits of Asperger's syndrome. And this is by the CDC, the chart. I'm going to read out loud just to make sure that what I say actually has backing. That is not like my theories. So number 1, Asperger's syndrome. They have trouble understanding other people's feelings and talking about their own feelings or talking about their own feelings. Number 2, they have a hard time understanding body language. So for example, if you start to watch RSD videos, you cannot see that they're evil or their body language is there to screw you over. That's the problem with Asperger's. You cannot read the facial expressions or the body language. Number 3, they avoid eye contact. I'm going to make some eye contact for this video because usually I don't know where to stare at, the screen or here, but they don't make a lot of eye contact, okay? Next, they want to be alone, or want to interact, but they don't know how, so they're socially impaired. That's what it means. This is a chart by the CDC. So they have narrow and sometimes obsessive interest. Like I said, narrow focus. Like this, like I said, this is not a theory. What I'm telling you is very scientific. They only talk about themselves and their interests. They don't talk about you. They always focus on themselves, but they talk like crazy. They talk like nonstop when you talk to them. They don't give a fuck about you because they're so busy talking about themselves. In the next one, according to CDC, they speak in unusual ways with an odd tone of voice. Exactly what I said here, so it's backed up by science. So the first tone of voice I see with Asperger's is that there's a monotone like this, and they actually have like a variation in their tonality. That's the thing that you can see from other dating coaches. Or else number 2, they have like a really high voice like this. They talk like this, right? So there's 2 types of Asperger's, which is the monotone. Like I said, they speak in unusual ways with odd tone of voice. And that's exactly what is written in the CDC. So they have a hard time making friends. That's why I made Elite 30 from hard case to hero, so people can learn some basic social skills, which is very, very important. Conversational skills, social skills. They seem nervous in large social groups. So that's how they're like. They're socially awkward. They're clumsy and awkward. And one thing you've noticed about their hand gestures and stuff is they have a very robotic hand gestures or really weird hand gestures, whatever the fuck. They move in like a robot. Like, hey, I am a monotone robot with no facial expressions. You should blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense, guys? It's starting to like I said, this is actually in the CDC. So everything Johnny Lee's telling you, like about everything, is scientific. It's very, very scientific. All right. Have rituals they refuse to change, such as having a very rigid bedtime routine. They develop odd and repetitive movements, and they have unusual sensory reactions. For example, they may not like loud music around them, stuff like that, but they have very unusual sensory perceptions. All right. So now that we have created a chart, it kind of gives you an idea. So when I create Elite 30 from hard case to hero, I was looking at this CDC chart. I look at all the traits and I was like, how can I make a program that is counter to this? And that's exactly how I create Elite 30 from hard case to hero. Okay. So it's not like I'm trying to compare Todd Valentine to Elon Musk, because Elon Musk, when you see him in the video, he doesn't have any fucking facial expressions and he moves his eyes left to right. Okay. He moves his eyes left to right. Because Todd Valentine does not have any day game testimonials except one. Just one. If there's only one testimonial, then his shit does not work. He's just being Asperger's for no particular reason. He sounds like a robot, guys. I'm Todd Valentine, and yeah, and the thing is that when I talk like in a monotone voice, yeah, I mean, with no facial expression, just lifting up my eyebrows, and yeah, it's really sad. By rigid, do you mean exactly 9 p.m.? It has nothing to do with 9 p.m., dude. Rigid as in like, it has to be their way. For example, they have a routine that before they cook, they have to do all these steps first. Exactly the same way every single time. And by rigid thinking, it means like they have a ritual. Rigid. It has to be their way. It has to be done exactly their way. So should be. So yeah. The next quality they have is that they have no social skills. A lot of dating coaches, if you noticed, a lot of them do not actually have a lot of friends. And if they had friends, because they're dark tetrad, along with autism or Asperger's, they'll screw people over. They really, really don't have any friends. So they don't know how to navigate along social skills and social calibrations. They don't know what to do in a social circle. They're just trying to think, how can you screw the next guy over? And they don't fit in with the normal society. They don't fit in with the normal society. That's exactly the problem with when you mix the mental illnesses. This is just the first one. It makes them hard to train properly, argue with you a lot. Could be. But that's not just what I mean by rigid. We'll get into all that stuff, okay? We'll get into all that stuff because we'll be talking about that during autism. So they look awkward and clumsy. And most of the autistic snowflake POAs, they can't see it. I'll get into that about the autistic POAs. So notable mention, the lack of facial expressions when they talk. So they're more monotone. They're more like, hey, I'm mystery, guys. And this is the mystery method. And what I'm teaching you guys is not trying to sound like the Joker, but a mystery out. So mystery, for example, is an example, although he's schizophrenic, he also has traits of Asperger syndrome. So for mystery, they have no facial expressions or very little. They sound very technical. They're analytical. They have weird and robotic body languages. Nothing about it seems natural. And POAs, they try to adapt. They practice reducing these traits. But he's also very depressed, moody, schizophrenic, comorbidity, multiple mental illnesses. Exactly what I said. Even self-proclaimed high lay counts guy is the same. When you look at his videos, there's zero facial expressions. It's just pissed off, dark tetrad, and just fucking autistic face, like, you know, Aspergers to the max, analytical. Even though I have more extreme results, day game is more impressive than night game or a fucking online game. Not even impressive, because that's like SMVing it. Goddamn fucking pictures on Tinder, and you know, just okay, this is, but you can see this is not like an opinion. The lack of facial expressions is not very uncommon among dating coaches. That's why they are more like suitable for online night game, because facial expressions and social skills are not as important as being tall, white, and SMVing it. So the next thing you'll notice is the same monotone across these other people. You know, fuck RSD. Tyler is a fraud, and Tyler is like, yeah, he doesn't really know anything about, like, that's exactly the same kind of facial expressions. It's not just him or Todd Valentine or other people. There's a lot of dating coaches that does not have any facial expressions when they talk. And also, they cannot modulate the voice like I can do. That's something that's beyond most dating coaches right now. They haven't figured out how to actually talk in such a way that they can kind of like, gym and haircut can overcome autism. What the fuck are you talking about? Gym and haircut does not overcome autism. This is Asperger's. It doesn't overcome it. Women can see Asperger's and they can see autism. It's very off-putting, because people with Asperger's, or it's okay, even Elon Musk got married with Asperger's, but when you got autism, it's almost like a cancer to a woman. They see that cancer even in your pictures online and everything, and they get turned off because they think if they ever have kids with people like with autism, which I'll get into, they're gonna pass on very bad genetics. So it has nothing to do with gym or, you know, as he said, or haircut. Just have a wide body. A lot of these guys who are like, they have very narrow shoulders. Widen your shoulders. Work out just on the shoulders. That will help you a lot. It's not just a haircut, but with narrow shoulders, you know, that's skinnier than a girl, they're gonna be like turned off. Anyways, let's continue. You notice more monotone for them to modulate their voice. It is the same as attempting to go up and down, but the same monotone. So even Queefing Casanova or Jan Lifestyle, have you noticed when they talk, they're just like, hey, how's it? Oh my God, guys, like, how's it going? Like, yeah. So exactly why you shouldn't like people like, that's exactly why I don't take steroids or anything like that. And oh my God, like, they're very Asperger. So for them, they're very technical. I mean, the jobs before it was also very technical. That relates to, but it shouldn't be an excuse if you have accept and move on. Work on areas in your, yeah, exactly. Work on what you can, but try to reduce the autism traits, which I'll get into very soon. It's very important that you work on reducing it so the women do not see it, and then you can pass, just pass. You know what I mean? It's very important that you learn that. So, of all the Asian dating coaches, have you noticed that I don't actually have any sort of like I can modulate my voice. I'm the only one who can speak with hand gestures, facial expressions, and I can modulate my voice. But the other Asian dating coaches have not been able to do that yet. And the problem with that is that you guys see it. When you guys see it, you guys are like, because you guys are, a lot of you are autistic yourselves, comorbidity, on top of sociopathy, narcissism, Machiavelli manipulation, on top of Asperger's. When you compound all these things, it's almost like, here's the first combination lock, here's the first padlock, this area, dark triad, dark tetrad. The second combination is autism or Asperger's, and we'll get into Asperger's or autism very soon. So the second type of Asperger's is the high screechy sounding voice. I wrote up there, screechy voice. So how does it sound like? It sounds very feminine. And so this is something that JT Tran will have. Hey guys, it sounds kind of like this. They sound like Mickey Mouse or something when they talk. That's like a little bit of Asperger's. They have this kind of, hey guys, this is JT Tran, and I sound like, you know, very feminine and stuff like that. That's like a high autism or Asperger's syndrome. That's how they talk. Like they have this sort of, so they have this weird fucking tonality. And yeah, I mean, it's like Justin Wayne, yeah, have like a weird tonality, kind of like this, you know, it's like trying to stand out like shit, you know, like exactly what I'm saying. And what happened is like, oh yeah, I got high five for that. So the weird tonality is like what they call Asperger syndrome. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense, guys, you know, like, because, yeah, because, you know, I got weapons, you know, I could lose it all, you know, I'm dangerous like that, you know, like what I'm saying, like, don't fuck with me. Like, things like when they talk, like, it's very off-putting when they start speaking like that. So when they start speaking like that, you notice this is the other trait of Asperger's. It's never in the middle. It's either like completely monotone and they speak like this, or it goes way up here, you know, like they sound like this. They sound like Mickey Mouse or something. Like, what the fuck, man? That's how they talk like. So they mix from all, but there's never in the middle where they can sound like this, you know, and they go right, like really fast, and then they can go very slow and they can talk about very important things and move their hand gestures accurately, and you don't even notice my hands are moving sometimes because it's very natural and shit. So that's the thing though with autism and Asperger's. They're either way up here, you know, they talk like this, or they talk like way down here, monotone. Hey guys, Todd Valentine here, and yeah, I can barely move my eyebrows. And there's a lot of people that don't move their eyebrows whatsoever. White dating coaches, they don't move their eyebrows. They just sort of, that's a weird thing, isn't it? How come their face is not moving? Like, where's the movement? It's not there. That is a sign of Asperger's. So, as you know, the Pennywise kind of eyes, right? When the eyes are kind of crooked, when eyes crooked, that's dark tetrad. You guys know that by now. And everyone has it, including the person who screwed me over for 2.2 million. I teach him how to make that much in 3 weeks, won 3 Toastmasters in the 3rd place. He also has it. Justin Wayne also has it. High leg counts guy also has it. Almost every dating coach that is dark tetrad, even Jan Lifestyle has it. Their eyes are 1.5 millimeters to the side. So they kind of look in 2 different directions. When you mix that, then you can see the different combination. Is it Asperger's or autism that's mixed in the second combination lock? Or the second piece of the padlock. One here, one here. There's going to be 4 pieces when I finish with this. So that's the first cluster. But yeah, that's dark tetrad. They can't hide the trait. Let's see. JT Tran, yeah, he has more of a feminine voice. Yeah, we've gotten into that. But it's kind of funny because he was working with NASA before, but Johnny Elite has beaten the shit of all his company, all his instructors, everyone. I used to post day game testimonials on Facebook groups every single 2 or 3 days, just a new one. And every time they try to brag or show off, it's kind of like it shows everyone else that they can barely even get testimonials. And with the coronavirus, this year, they actually cannot get that many testimonials or any. Not even Night Game, which is kind of strange. It's kind of strange. All right. So let's see. That's these guys. Yeah, so for them, the reason why ABCs of attraction cannot really get the testimonials is because they're not focusing on the entire chart. But we do know in the chart, what's missing from a lot of dating coaches is that, like I said, this is very important. I talked about social skills, SS. Social calibrations. That means even in Night Game, you can use your body language. And you can stand up straight and you can, do that. But that's social calibration, not social skills. The social skills is small talk. So emoting is kind of like vibing it. Even Night Game, you can vibe it. And when it comes to online game, it's mostly vibing your SMV through your pictures, but in reality, there is no game. It's just enough game is like a game. Game is just a value delivery system. So if you're a tall white guy, you have more value when you swipe right. You just SMVing it, and they call this volume. It's not a game of volume. It is a game of calibrations or a game of conversions. But you can see for this chart for social skills, ABCs of attraction, the reason why they cannot do day game or Queefing Casanova is because Queefing Casanova would just put his hands in his pocket, which kind of deters all expressions. So when you don't use your hand gestures and you talk to the women, it doesn't mean you have to be like this, right? Talking like in a robotic kind of autistic way, like this. I don't talk like that. You can be congruent when you speak, like, look at my watch, it's amazing. You gotta check this out. At the same time, you can use these hand gestures and you're talking at the same time. The woman doesn't even know that you are using it. And sometimes it can go down here, other times it can be up here, it can be like, yeah, blah, blah. But the point is they don't understand that social skills. So therefore, no matter how much game that ABCs of attraction think they have, because they don't have social skills or Queefing Casanova or Jan lifestyle, when they focus only on game or body language on ABCs of attraction, same with verbose, as they call it. Verbose is not social skills, it is game. So when the Queefing Casanova with facial expressions talk about game, he's not talking about social skills. In reality, social skills, because Asperger's does not have social skills, and this is the biggest equalizer of the inner circle. Social skills kills all the other ones. They eat all the other ones for breakfast. Social skills kills emotional intelligence. It kills social calibration. It kills the game because all the naturals, they have mostly social skills and emotional intelligence and good body language. That means they don't need like the perfect game. And that's the problem, is that when you think verbose, and whatever fucking shit, or game conversation, you're not seeing the big picture. Because this can replace all of the emotional intelligence in your game. Because the social skills, especially when people talk their tonality, they're talking women like, hey, how's it going? I was just curious. The reason why I came up and talked to you was because you look very creative and artistic. I was actually kind of curious, like, are you an artist? It's kind of funny because you look very artistic, but not really that artistic. You look kind of art. The tonality changes, and white people talk like that because it's like a small talk. This is why they don't understand the social skills, because they're Aspergers or autism. All right, we'll get into that later. But you can kind of see that the reason why nobody else has day game testimonials is because it's not always about game, verbals, or conversational skills. It is also about social skills. Could cause several depression, age 26. I'm improving the arm. Girls don't like me. A lot. Also brain damage. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that later. So that's why they can't get day game testimonials. And that's very true. So even RSD Tyler, like, hey, how's it going? I'm Tyler. Doesn't he have like a weird fucking voice, like a screechy voice, exactly like Asperger's? Oh my God, guys, I'm like a cult leader and shit. Like, that's RSD Tyler. Oh my God. Like, seriously, what the fuck? Like, the way he talks. The way he talks is exactly consistent with Asperger's, or autism. He has autism and Asperger's. according to what is seen in the CDC chart. So he has multiple mental illnesses. He almost has the dark tetrad, and now you mix it with Asperger's. So that's his screechy voice, and exactly why Elite 30 is the best course ever for, social calibrations, body language. It repairs a lot of the weird fucking body language and shit. It repairs the weird body language. So the main reason why, like I said, it works is social skills, social calibrations, emotional intelligence, and game. So another strange variation, like another weird thing is that all Aspies, they always conclude that religion is not real. I know it sounds very strange. Eventually, they're gonna make the judgment that they're nihilistic or they don't believe in religion, because it is a very neurotypical thing, which means normal to believe in religion. It's not like a delusional thing. So a neurotypical brain will believe in religion. But however, for Asperger's, almost 99% of them will not believe in religion in the long run. It's almost like a days are counting down when they don't believe at all. And I know it sounds very strange, but you heard it from here first. I know these people really, really well. More than you can ever imagine. I want to say thanks for everything. No problem, no problem. So, okay. So their brains are not capable. So what's variation B? Autism. So I posted a screenshot here about Asians. I show these Asians who are wearing RSD hoodies, bad hair. And it says bad fashion, wearing hoodies, loves RSD. They love strong, handsome Asian dating coaches. They think looks doesn't matter. It's all game. And they always need a night game component. So they always need night game for some reason, because they feel like it's getting itchy. Maybe it's like all these lights and shit. They always need night game, and they're unconfident in day game because they're sociopathic, narcissistic, creepy, no social skills, a completely deluded, stubborn, obsessed with comfort, and coaches sounding professional. That means when I swear and stuff, it really upsets them because I don't sound like ABCs of Attraction, JT Tran, or I don't sound like Creeping Casanova. I yell at the students, I show no mercy. It's very important because like almost every bootcamp student has pulled or gotten laid. And even gaming elite, when I was teaching before, it's like a lot of students getting laid. More than John Wayne, but Johnny Elite is like same thing, like a lot of student results, which is really strange because this is even, whatever I taught always worked. And you're gonna see gaming elite's testimonials or student results in the bootcamp page in the future. There's gonna be another like 15 or 20 more fucking testimonials. So maybe I'll make screenshots. But the very first day they study Elite 30, they study all the social calibrations and social skills. That replaces anything to do with game or verbals or conversational skills. This is why my students are so successful. But let's talk about autism. Okay. Some of the things that you'll never hear this from anywhere else. So let's write it up. We'll just erase this part for autism. So this is variation B. We'll use a different colored pen, perhaps. That's even better. So autism. Autism is very different from Asperger's. Asperger syndrome is extremely different. What percentage of creepy don't have autism? Actually, a lot of them do have autism, especially all the ones who are RSD victims. If you guys are liking this, give it a thumbs up so I know that you guys are getting it. Because I don't care if other people give my first video about sociopathy, dark tetrad, and narcissism the thumbs down because they're not used to this stuff. This is like the first time they heard about this. White girls, Asian guys. Do most get laid from online products? I have 433 laid pull testimonials, Drizzy Kaba. So how does a person have 433? How come ABCs of Attraction does not have that many day game testimonials, or Queefing Casanova, or Jan Lifestyle has 0? All night game or online. How come they cannot get like that many day game testimonials of students late? And how come it's not just my online products? If you look at my, programs, 3 months to proficiency, Drizzy, all the students have, except for one, who was completely impossible case, like autism. He didn't, but everyone else got laid. Kaizen is a body language program, which is for social calibrations. Every student got laid. Tech scheme for minority. I got one new black student, impossible case. But every single student so far, we gotta see what happens with him. But every student got laid so far in it. And this is not even relating to game. That's the scary thing, because Kaizen has nothing to do with game. It's the body language. You're like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense, John. How come your students are still getting laid when it's not even a game product? Because it's not all game. Oh, you're like, what the fuck? So it's not all game. Game is only a very small part of it. If you boost the social skills and the social calibrations, you are way ahead. That's already 50% off the fucking chart. 50%. Why not focus on that? That's why my students are so much better. It opens the floodgate to results because I'm attacking autism and Aspergers directly. Why do you think the ABC Traction stopped making frequent? Well, because of the coronavirus. Their business is based on scaling. They're based on scaling because they pay a lot of instructors and stuff. It costs a lot of money. And because the second thing is that on Facebook groups, I'm always posting testimonials after testimonials after testimonials after testimonials. They cannot keep up. So if they try to claim they're the best Asian dating company, they'll be carpet bombed by Johnny Leak's testimonials. So they never stick up their head anymore. And after a while, because they're not getting student results, they're losing a lot of business due to coronavirus. So a lot of red pill dating coaches, they're trying to screw you over because they want to put you into boot camps. And it's funny because not just boot camps, like every program of mine has student testimonials. Online, teaching like Skype, person to person, training them, and also the products. Most people's products cannot even get that many late testimonials in day game. They might have less than a handful. So this shows you a new level of game the world has never seen before. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for the answer. No problem. No problem. You're flexing overcome. No. So some of you never heard from psychologists. They haven't been around. Like for a psychologist, they have to do psychological experiments. Sorry. Lips is kind of chapping. It's kind of dry. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But the thing is that it costs a lot of money just to run one psychological experiment. It probably costs them like hundreds of thousands of dollars just to test for one hypothesis. And the good thing about me is that when I teach a lot of students who are Asperger's, autism, and stuff like that, I get to test them over and over and over, and I see the same things. So number one, they get easily offended. They want you to apologize later. They're usually over emotional. This is what you call the snowflakes. The RSD victims, they're very emotional. Does that make sense? They're extremely emotional in their comorbidity, multiple mental illnesses. They're high with narcissism and low self-esteem. They dress like shit, and they're easily offended. So even giving them advice, like today, I was teaching a black student. I was calling him like a stupid fucking idiot because he can't learn shit. He was thinking he was an okay student. And I was like, oh, you're a snowflake cunt because you're getting offended. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to tell you the truth. This is what you need to fix. You can't repeat the same mistakes. So number one, they're offended. Snowflakes are emotional. I'll say this again because dark tetrad, they're very emotional around women too, sociopaths. But when you compound sociopathy with autism, because they have extrasensory perception, they're very, very emotional. They almost get teary-eyed when you tell them something. Their eyes will start to tear up. They get really offended and butthurt because it's almost like the nervous system is completely frayed and completely damaged, that everything gets intensified. So they would always tell you they're very emotional people. A lot of Indians, for example, in India, almost all my Indian students tell me this, they're very emotional people, high fucking ego, low self-esteem. But in reality, that's like it's not Asperger's, it's autism and narcissism. It hurts their ego. So it's like multiple comorbidity, very common. Even for Latinos, that can happen too. They can get very, very offended and they can be very diluted. So yes. Why do you think the POA coaching autistic people rather than normal people? Well, normal people will not normal people will not actually come to dating coaches like myself. If I was teaching those people, they'll all be normal cases. They already have good social skills. I don't have to do much work. I just have to make a few tweaks here and there, a few tweaks to the fashion, teach them a few game tactics and emotions, and they're good to go. But the biggest problem is that when I'm teaching other people who are autistic or Aspergers, that's the reason why they're attracted to the PUA, because of the mental illnesses. You guys remember? Sociopathy or psychopathy. Most of them are sociopath. Number 2, narcissism. Number 3, Machiavelli manipulator. Number 4, autistic or Asperger's. Number 5, OCD and ADHD. Number 6, depression and delusions. Number 7 is let me think, anxiety or something else. But you see that, you're like, holy shit. So there's a whole cluster, like a DNA of a pickup artist. That's why they can do day game and stuff. Most normal people, they cannot handle day game because it's mentally tough. It's mentally tough. So that's the answer to the question. Rather than people who are naturally smooth. Naturally smooth, people who are naturals already have social skills. They already have good emotional intelligence. They have the perfect body language, social calibrations. So therefore, they don't need that much game. Hope that makes sense. They already got 75% of the pie of the chart for the game category. And also, a lot of them are not ugly or anything like that. The ones who are born natural, they already have the neural pathways. But for these people, they're very, very different. So, let's see. If RSD Tyler, and I'm not supposed to be telling you this, okay? For RSD Tyler, he likes to tape up all the windows and stuff, and he cries. Let's say, for example, he loses his girlfriend or he goes for emotional turmoil. What happens with RSD Tyler is he'll tape up all the windows. They'll block out the place. They'll block out the place. And I know this because you guys saw the red pill, blue pill, purple pill, black pill, MGTOW videos. And the guy who was talking works with RSD, my student, who also got a model girlfriend, Middle Eastern, under my training. Nothing from RSD, no result from RSD. So, sorry, I don't know why it's so itchy. I think all these lights and stuff is pretty hot here. But regardless, for him, he's also a little bit emotional. So you notice the head tilt and stuff in him when he talks. When they get emotional, autistic people, they have this head tilt. The head will be like all over the place. They'll talk like this, and they'll have this sort of expression because they're overwhelmed. They're usually butthurt, overwhelmed, and emotional. So it's very common among POAs. That's the reason why they go to RSD. That's why RSD, Tyler, never offends people. He always doesn't want to offend people, because if he offends people, he'll lose business. I'm willing to offend people to tell them the fucking truth. So autism are easily offended snowflakes. And their emotions are like 10 times as emotional as most normal people. So that's why he tapes up all the windows and stuff. And other people, RSD, they do the same thing because they want to follow Tyler like a fucking cult. But for Tyler, the extra sensory, like the lights or the extra, the sounds and stuff, it really bothers people who are autistic. Too much sounds and sensory perceptions jams up their nervous system. Hope that makes sense. It jams it all up, so they overheat easily. Like a Gatling gun, shooting machine gun, like bullets, like Terminator 2. It overheats the barrel. Does that make sense? So by the end of the day, when they're doing their job, they get more and more frustrated. And you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, they do. So that's why working for them, they cannot really focus on work and stuff because it overheats their systems. You're like, oh my God, like, so nobody's ever talked about this before. But you see this among a lot of RSD victims. Holy shit, it's like, this is not even a theory, is it? You guys know what I'm saying is pretty true. That is so truthful that. Okay, Tyler and Justin Wayne typically are Asperger's and autism, like a double negative. So he's trying to reframe it as seduction. Really, seduction has natural seduction, has social skills. They don't have romance, body language, in-game emotions. So it's calling it seduction. That's great. But sure. He only got socio skills, not social, socio skills, like sociopath. So a lot of autistic people I have found that are sociopath. So this comorbidity is mixed with sociopathy and also autism. They're pretty stupid. They're pretty stupid. So when you think about them, they only know how to deceive because of the dark tetrad or dark triad. And with the autism, they're not very bright. Their IQ is extremely low. They're not bright. That means nothing goes off in their brain. When you talk about metaphors, like for example, I try to use an example of something else to explain something else. They do not understand metaphors. They're like, huh? So you're like, it's kind of like comorbidity is like a mixed mental illness. It's kind of like a tumor or something. They're like, tumor? I don't get it. So they're not very bright. What do you mean by tumor? They think very literal. They think very literal. They don't actually think in such a way that's very bright. It doesn't click. So when I went for a test to see if I got autism or Asperger's, they're like laughing at me, like, John, like, my name's Gary, but that's like, Gary, come on now. You're so bright. I mean, you don't even have anything close to it. They just can't stop laughing because the guy who diagnosed me, he is the head of the whole Asperger's thing, and his son has it. And also, he is the one that brought Adderall, the medication from something else, originally used for something else for ADD. So he is like the top. And he's like, he's just laughing at me, like, because the word brightness, they are not bright. They're not very smart, most of them. That's why a lot of dating coaches that are autism and sociopathy, opinions as facts, like Charles Manson. The reason why they don't have that many testimonials in day game is because they're not very bright and they have opinions as facts. Now it's like multi-layered mental illnesses. Now you're starting to see a pattern here. So what happens next is that's why I don't get any results. That's why I don't get like student results. So for RSD victims, they usually like dating coaches who are like 5'11" and higher, or around that area. Their autism, dark tetrad, right? The thing about people with higher SMV is that it's good to have autism with dark tetrad together. So it's like sociopathy, narcissism, Machiavelli, manipulator, and autism, because you can vibe your SMV. So for the chart up there, it had social skills, social calibration, emotional intelligence, and game. Because they have more value, looks, money, status, game. If they're tall, black, or white looking, and muscular, V-shape. What happens is that when they're emotional, and like I said, sociopaths, they're more emotional with women. It's almost like their emotions go up 5 times when they talk to women because they want to procreate. The tumor wants to procreate, or the cancer, dark tetrad. That's why they screw everyone over, and they're selfish. They have very selfish ambitions. But in reality, when you mix that with emotions together, it's a very powerful combination. But the problem is that if you have autism and you have very low SMV, now that autism works against you. So it supports the delusions. The autism can be a weapon of mass emotion. It could be a weapon of mass emotion, and could be a huge tactical advantage for people who are high SMV, tall, and whatever. By emoting, when you have higher SMV, because women are emotional, it can definitely work in their favor. But if you have low SMV, it could be the worst thing that ever happened to you. Hope that makes sense. So this is like the genetic code of dark tetrad with autism. So even like next thing is that most of them cannot follow instructions. This is really fucked up. Damn, women aren't just bright. Should be chased, or should we focus on high income skills? How's Elite 30 different than a playbook? How do you know which one to start with? I would start with Elite 30, which is the social skills, social calibrations, emotions, and game. So basically, when you think about this, redraw this chart just for reference sake. Social skills and social calibrations. This is in the Elite 30. Emotional intelligence, I've not taught emotional intelligence yet. It's only Elite 60 and other top secret programs. It's not for the public yet. You guys have not caught up to the ability to learn it. But for a game, it's in the playbook. Does that make sense? So the playbook is the game. But the other one is Elite 30. So therefore, if you want to start, instead of focusing on game, if you feel like your social calibrations are kind of low, you probably want to start with Elite 30 right here. Elite 30 makes more sense than Elite Playbook. I know a lot, or maybe just get them both. So that way you can practice at home all 30 pieces of the social skills. For example, the very first day might be just like carefree, positive, happy, fun vibes. So you'd be like practicing like fist in front of the mirror in a very happy kind of way, and people can kind of feel the emotions, the enthusiasm. And the next day, maybe like you stand 45 degrees, neck back, and you just practice that in front of the mirror over and over. Spend the entire day practicing it. But I would recommend for beginners who are kind of socially deficient, it makes all the sense in the world to start with Elite 30. Elite 30, or just get them both. There's a bundle deal now. Rather than 5 Skypes, you get 6 Skypes and a strategy section with the bundle. It actually makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? So that's Elite 30. So I would start there. $160. What do you have to lose? And it's going to be very eye-opening because it looks nothing like the playbook. It's almost all social calibrations and a little bit of social skills. And people are like, what the fuck, John? So you're saying that body language, every single piece of it is the game? Nonverbal communication is like 65%. And tonality is like 26%, and the words are like 4%. So why the fuck are you just focusing on the words or the game, the lines, which is 4%? Why not focus on the body language and what you communicate to women with your body language? Hope that makes a lot of sense. You're like, holy shit. How come other dating coaches have not figured this shit out? Because they're autistic themselves and they have Aspergers. They don't even know what the fuck this thing is. They don't know what Elite 30 is. It doesn't make sense to them because they're autistic and they're sociopath. They dismiss it. They believe their opinions as facts. They don't actually understand it on any level whatsoever. Hope that makes sense. So they don't use Elite 30 at all. They don't use Elite 30. And they're trying to just game. But you look at all the naturals. All the naturals already have these 3. Social skills, social calibrations, and emotional intelligence. So their game may not be the highest. But in reality, they get more results because they already mastered a 75%. Why are you focused on just the game? That's 25%. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Now that you look at this chart, there is no logical sense, but because a lot of pickup artists have autism and Aspergers, they cannot perceive their social skills because they don't know what they don't know. And like I said, unconscious incompetence, they have no idea. Then there's conscious incompetence, they know what the mistake is, but you don't know what you don't know. Because you can't perceive it with the autism and sociopathy. This is why the PUAs have this sort of creepy sort of reputation with women. Because of the creepy reputation, especially in Vancouver, it happens all the time. It's always some pickup artist that ruins it for the rest of us. They ruin it for everyone else. They're usually like a autistic sociopath, dark tetrad. They just ruin it all. So I'm going to take ashwagandha omega-3. I guess I have Asperger's. No, you have autism, Dark Lord. And can't see it in my eyes. Also monotone. I don't know how to small talk. Yeah, you keep, because you have both of them. You have autism and Asperger's. A lot of Indians have it. And you can't afford Elite 30. And that also, a lot of people who are autistic, they cannot make a lot of money. They don't have a side hustle. You're looking like a soldier. What strengthening system are you following? I made up my own. So I made up a muscle confusion program that gives you a V-shaped back. So you look like a soldier. What strength system? Yeah. So 160. Where's the link? Okay. Let me give you a link right now. So John Elite. So if you go to johnelite.com, you can find a link for it. So I got 2 sites now. I've been building a new site. I'm not a marketer, so I don't really know if my designs are good, but I'll send you a link right now. So Elite 30 from Hardcase to here. You master Elite 30, and a lot of people do before the boot camps. They're forced to do Elite 30. So what happens is, right here, here's a link. They're forced to do Elite 30, and some of them actually get laid before the boot camp. So when they come to boot camp, they get laid again, because the social skills is the first day of my boot camp. So you wonder, how come John's boot camp is so successful? Students all pull or get laid, except I think overall, since I was John Wayne to John Elite, although Gaming Elite started in 2013 teaching students, like I've been a dating coach for so long as I can remember. Like that's how many years ago? 2013, 14. It's almost like 7 years or something, a long time. I've been a coach for that long. And you should see before, I have more like fucking bootcamp testimonials of students laid, even as Gaming Elite. But back then I was just starting out. So there are some students, there's always the taller guys that are white that gets laid more. Back then the Asians did not get that much results because the Asians were lacking social skills and social calibrations. There's something I did not know before. So I got a job, but I don't think I'm autistic. That's debatable, dude. Yeah, a little bit of an impossible case. You don't know what you don't know. Okay. I call my black student Bubba Gump. You know, that sounds really awful, but the dude's a dumbass, autistic, emotional fuck. So if you're reading this, right, fucking follow instructions. For today, I have to keep repeating the instructions. And sometimes you have to repeat it like over and over, like 50 times. They never follow it. They never follow it. So typically what happens is that I was teaching this in the inner circle. So the brain is like a Swiss cheese. So whenever they take notes and stuff, the autistic students, impossible cases. So here's a piece of cheese, okay? Just pretend there's a bunch of holes in it. Right? Pretty cool, right? Cheese. So when the information goes into the brain, it goes like only a certain amount actually goes out or through the brain. It's like Swiss cheese. This is why the other 18-year-old testimonial, he was talking about he has a Swiss cheese brain. And that's why I call them Swiss cheese brains. Their information's all wrong. So when they take notes and stuff, right, they're like, here's the notes on a piece of paper, right? Whenever they take notes, the notes are all wrong. You're like, what the fuck? What do you mean by all wrong? That means whenever I teach them something, it goes in one ear and out the other, but it gets scrambled. They can never follow the same recipe. So if you're making a cake, for example, let's say, for example, when I talk about funnel hacking or following exactly, this is like a cake, okay? Let's just say a cake, strawberries and shit, and has like patterns here. In order for a cake to rise properly, right, you must actually have, okay, you must actually have the right ingredients. So for them, because they're doing it all wrong, like I talked about in a unconscious incompetence video, because they have to do it their way. So with autism, they usually lack a lot of skills. They always do it their version first. It's kind of like learning how to shoot a gun. At first, they're just like shooting like whatever, and you have to correct it 1% at a time. And by the time you correct it 50 times, they should, in the beginning, you should grab the arm and say, move it up here, elbow up here, hold it like this, right? Like that, look down the sights, right? And, you know, they never could do it correctly the first time. They always have to repeat the lessons over and over. I bet a lot of you who are impossible cases that I've taught, a lot of you have repeated lessons over and over, and you're like, what the fuck? That I repeat again, but you don't listen. I repeat it again, you don't listen. I repeat it again, you don't listen. I repeat it again, you don't listen. I repeat it after 50 times. Now you mix this with narcissism, where you think you know everything, and sociopathy, opinions as facts. This becomes a killer combination of really fucked up sort of delusional behavior. So is laziness part of autism? No, it's more part of ADHD, but I'll get into ADHD or attention deficit disorder in the future. So I'll get into that. Oh, for fuck's sakes. It's the wrong fucking neck brace, you dumb fucking idiot. I'll send you a link later. Holy shit. Just follow the fucking instructions. It's my black student. Fucking follow the instructions. It's talking about neck brace and shit. But yeah, they all do exactly the same thing. So for autism, they never could follow instructions. Like I said, the Swiss cheese brain. How did it happen exactly the same time? Which is fucked up. So it says your product's $310. No, it's no, it's $160. $160. So just send a, just send like an application and thoughts on playing with dicks. I don't give a fuck about what their technologies. I really don't care about playing with dicks. I have no respect for any of them. If I wanted to go in an online world, I will crush them. Every single one of them, like a bowling pin. I'll be like bowling ball, just knock them all down. But I'm more hyper focused on day game. But yeah. Yeah, 100% Aspergers, no facial expressions. 100%. So you have to listen to the tonalities. Just sounds like this, like Tyler is kind of like, oh, there's no facial expressions. Have you noticed that? The face does not move. Oh, autistic face. So it is Asperger's. That's my opinion. And then you can see it for yourself. It's not like a theory. I'm talking about dark tetrad, like Pennywise eyes. But you see that with him. You also see like Aspergers. That's a problem because you like to worship these white dating coaches. Dark Lord. That's why you disrupt your neural pathways. That's why you don't get any results. That's why you're stupid. Because you're autistic. You're narrow thinking. You have a 1D view of the world. You cannot follow instructions. So 320. No. I mean, look on the bottom of the page. It's 160. Look at the bottom of the page. If it's a 320, like, I don't know where you can see that. Elite 30 from hard case to hero. It is 160, so don't worry about it. We're just wasting a lot of precious fucking time. It's only like 320 when you mix the inner circle with it, I believe. But it's not that much. Let's see here. No, it says 399 slash that. It was 160 USD in green. It says it right here, so I can see it. More logical, me. I've been studying information systems at a university, and all the students have no facial expressions. Are autistic? They're more Asperger syndrome. They're not autistic. They're Aspergers. Asperger is like a high functioning autism. It usually you'll notice among copywriters, guys who write sales letters. They all speak like kind of like this. They like wear very normal wearing clothing, and then you can barely hear what they're saying. But they get off on concepts and stuff. They kind of get like really excited about concepts. They sound very robotic. They all sound like that. If you're into IT or something, the entire classroom will have nothing but Asperger's. So Asperger's is a high functioning autism. That means you're still functional. You can still, do normal things in life. But autism is much worse. So, which salon did I go to? I cut my own hair. So it's not really cut properly right now. I gotta color it. I cut my own hair. I'm completely self-reliant. So, like, the entire thing's done by me. I don't like let other people touch my hair ever. Give a thumbs up if you. I don't see that many thumbs up, so maybe I'm off topic. But, so basically, what can you do about this? So besides the big neck tilts, a lot of autistic people, they'll talk like this. They move it like this and have this sort of look in their face. And the reason why is because they're too emotional. The emotions are going up the neck, and they're kind of like this. They're very like, it's weird. That's why I make them wear a neck brace. This is why the students asking me about the neck brace. As strange as it sounds. That's why all my autistic students are forced to wear a neck brace so they cannot tilt their head. But you'll see that in their Instagram pictures. They'll be like this. And then when the women see that, they're like, oh, that's autism. And then they get scared. So already their online profile already cock blocks them because they have this. Like, what the fuck, right? So always keep your neck like straight. What about freezing your neck? Do not do it. Just use a neck brace. For example, where the fuck is my neck brace? So for autistic students, they're all forced to wear this neck brace, this exact one. But you can see my other student is picking the wrong neck brace over and over because he can't follow instructions. And it's weird that you guys are seeing that Swiss cheese brain happening right in front of you. So they'll be forced to wear a neck brace like this. And, then they can practice the day game. They cannot move their head. They cannot tilt it at all. It's just really hard to. So all the students who are in possible cases, all of them use this for practice so they can retrain the neck. You don't need any sort of like surgery or anything like that. And a lot of them, when the chin is down, they feel more depressed. That's one thing you'll notice among them. The chin will be down here, their neck will be like out, and they get, yeah, fuck, that gives me a depression just doing that. Even like that gives you like a dreadful feeling. You guys can try it. Just grab your chin and put it down like this and down. You feel very depressed. You almost have a dreadful feeling of really like awful feeling. That's what it feels like for autistic people because they're too emotional. So it changes the neck. And when they're too emotional, their neck tilts like this. It's like, oh no, coronavirus ruining the red pill boot camps. Their neck would tilt. Well, that makes sense. So that's the thing. Next thing is that they have this depressed voice for impossible cases. They have this sort of, it trails downwards like sighing. When you listen to the 18-year-old student testimonial, you're like, he's always like, yeah, I got a blowjob from Johnny Lee's training. It always goes down at the end. So the tonality at the very end keeps going down. I'll show you. So rather than sounding just, it goes down here. Like, oh yeah, that's great. But the thing is, so they turn off women. They keep going down at the end because they sound very depressed because they're too emotional. And that turns, when women hears this thing subconsciously, women get turned off every single time. So for autistic students, because they're emotional, they've really turned women off like a fucking not like a light switch, but like a hose or something, just strangling all the water that goes through. Hope that kind of makes sense. It's like, what the fuck? So the longer they're in the interaction with the women, the more the woman gets turned off, no matter how good looking they are. Even the 18-year-old student is quite good looking, but because he has autism, they turn off the women. Like, no matter, like the looks didn't even matter when his voice goes down like that. When the voice goes down like that, it just sounds depressed. And they talk kind of like this, kind of like no hope in their voice. It's like they just sort of like giving up on life. And it goes downwards like this. And this is what autistic people all sound like. And it's like sighing. That's why they go online a lot. That's why they like online game, because their tonality turns women off completely. Because they cannot modulate tonality. It sounds very, very depressed at the very end. And that keeps happening over and over until the woman completely closes her legs. I better take omega-3. I have a better idea than you do. So this is why, anyways, that's why Kaizen is such an important program for autistic people, because it forces the neck and the body to be in the correct position. Because motion equals emotion. The body language equals how you feel. So if you're always doing this and just getting I'm emotional, I'm a snowflake, offended snowflake cunt, that's gonna create a lot of mental storms. A lot of them have mental storms, because if I offend one of them, they'll be like holding a grudge for like 3 days in a row against me. Okay, so like I said, they get stressed very easily at work, very simple-minded. Let's see. Yeah, even though my Middle Eastern student, he got like a model girlfriend, he worked RSD. And then black students also tall and stuff. Let's see. Me over 100K with my training, sure, transferable. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about, this is very important, okay, is cortisol. So what is cortisol? I'm not sure if I can spell it correctly, but a lot of the people who are autistic, they have a lot of cortisol. Cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So it pumps into your system, because whenever you go through a fight, flight, and freeze response, what happens is it rushes right into your nervous system. And what happens is that you feel overwhelmed. And when you feel overwhelmed, and it keeps pumping that, it's like pumping NOS into your system. It overworks your system. Exactly like what Dark Lord is saying. The thing is that all the students that are impossible cases, they take ashwagandha. I'm not sure if I spell it correctly, but it's Indian herb. Ashwagandha. G-H-A-N-D-A. Ashwagandha. So hopefully I spelled it correctly. Ashwagandha, when they take it at nighttime and they wake up, what happens is that they're refreshed, because this turns off the cortisol, stress hormone. Because the cortisol is what creates the extrasensory feeling in their nervous system. So this is why they're flooded with cortisol. Turning this off makes a big difference, because a lot of them can be very timid around women. Extremely timid. Now it becomes a big major problem, because when they're so timid around women, they start to fuck up around women. Everything becomes like all fucking jumbled mess up. Oh shit. Hope that makes sense. So ashwagandha is the first thing I recommend all autistic people to take. And try it. You have nothing to lose. In ashwagandha, for all the students, every single one of them, it works for the impossible cases. So that's the first thing you can do. You're talking about nutrition and what they're lacking. what if you have anxiety around needles, but not with people? Does that, no, that's more like a social, or that's a phobia. Phobia is a fear of needles. For example, I also have a fear of needles too. When I was growing up, they didn't do it properly and I kept bleeding all over the place. So I developed a phobia. I also have a phobia around hand washing, like germs. Because one time, people around me had like a staph infection, also like hepatitis B, and I was like, fuck. I became very afraid. So it starts that way, anxiety. This is what they call a phobia. Phobia is not the same as this. Although it does have a cortisol response, a fear response. But we're talking about like for impossible cases or autistic students, we're talking about like 24/7 cortisol, guys. The whole system gets flooded, and at the end of the day, they get more and more pissed off. So whatever negative state of mind that they have and their emotionality, as they call it, it triples, guys. It triples. Holy shit. So by the end of the day, they're more stressed than in the beginning. But having this ashwagandha can already reduce those characteristics. It makes a big difference in their life. Another thing my students do is called EFT tapping. It's like an energy. The way they tap underneath the eyes in this over and over, and then the energy releases from their, certain pressure points. And they mix that with venting. So they have to vent their anger. The anger is really like, it's more on top of that without ashwagandha. So by the end of the day, when I'm teaching my Elite 60 student, Indian guy, holy shit, like it's like I get a headache just by talking to him. I get a big headache just by thinking about it. So therefore, this is autism to the max. Like this is not a made up thing. This is how they behave. And you get a headache because the problem is that they cannot focus when they have all this cortisol in their system. With all this cortisol, they're always like unfocused, over sensory perception. Their fucking nervous system is starting to fry up. It's starting to fry up. So by the end of the day, maybe at nighttime, they're completely gone mentally. They're completely gone. And without ashwagandha, they're fucked. So the next thing about the artistic PS, okay, for the pickup artists who are sheeps, like RSD sheeps. So like I said, they cannot read a smile. So therefore, when they see RSD having evil smile, or a lot of dating coaches, when I talked about sociopathy and how they have this sort of fake smile and they have this serial killer eyes, they cannot see it. So that's why day game is so hard for people with autism. I mean, I get it. There's some people who are psychopaths who cannot understand people's emotions, or sociopaths, they feel no guilt, or narcissism, they don't care. But for autistic students, almost all of them cannot read what the woman's feeling. Because for them, they're so over emotional, they're overwhelmed, but their senses get diluted. Their senses get diluted completely. And this is the thing about mental distortions. Number one, it's called all or nothing thinking. This is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. This chart says sometimes called black and white thinking. If I'm not perfect, I have failed. Either I do it right or not at all. They always have this, kind of thinking. Number two, overgeneralization. This overlaps with sociopathy and also autism. They overgeneralize everything, like A plus B equals this. And mental filtering. They see it from their own mental filter, but because it's like a tumor, it's all fucked up. It's like all fucked up. Number two, they disqualify the positives. Even if anything good happens to them, they always jump to conclusions. 2 + 2 = 5. Because they have opinions as facts and they're diluted. That means when you think about it, it also affects their eyesight and what they hear. Swiss cheese brain is almost have the Swiss cheese eyes. They cannot actually perceive when I'm teaching them. It goes one ear and then it's wrong the other way. Or what they see, it actually affects their eyesight to the point where they cannot see the evilness in Justin Wayne's face. They cannot see in Jan Lifestyle's, evil eyes. They cannot see in RSD Tyler, everyone. They cannot see the serial killer look. They only see a smile. So for them, what you see is you see a serial killer eyes. Okay, see over here. Oh, I'm Pennywise. My eyes are crooked, and they have this sort of like crazy smile, right? Like crazy smile, and here's the teeth. They cannot see that. Oh, I'm Pennywise with a fucked up hairline, exactly like Highway Counts guy. Oh, right? You can't see that evilness in their face, the serial killer face. The only thing they actually see is not the serial killer face or the crooked eyes. In their eyes, and this is the strange thing, they only see a smile like this. This is all they see. They can't perceive anything else. With autism, they don't see through the mask. It's not within their senses. That means their eyes been hijacked. Whoa. You want to float, George? Like they can't see. They're that fucked up. So next thing is that they always magnify, catastrophize, or minimize. Doesn't mean all the autistic people, but the ones that are sociopathic in this, they kind of think like emotional reasoning is a big one. All autistic people who are impossible cases with comorbidity are emotional reasoning. They always think emotionally because I'm an emotional snowflake cunt, right? They're emotional snowflakes. So they always think emotionally. Their EQ was extremely low. Their emotional intelligence. They always have this magnification or minimization. They always minimize their mistakes. So if I tell them that you got to fix X, Y, and Z, they always minimize it. They always say like, no, it's not because of that. It's not so bad. My belly's getting smaller. It's like, no, it's not actually. I tell them how it is. They always like to minimize it. But this doesn't mean all autistic people do this. This is just a chart for mental distortions. Do they have supplements for joint pain? I broke my arm in multiple places. It's barely movable. Yeah, use glucosamine or something, or whatever it's called, glutamine or something. That's good for joints and stuff. And if you broke your arm in multiple places, use vitamin D, magnesium. Vitamin D drops is good. I'll talk about that later. And also mix that with calcium. So how much calcium, how much each? You can have as much vitamin D, nothing happens to you. A lot of people are deficient. So let's continue. They have a should or must system because they're angry all the time. People should not treat me like this. People must behave like this. And they're labeling, and this is my, and sometimes personalize it. This is my fault. So is there any solutions? Number one is the omega-369. Omega-369. So what's omega-369 besides ashwagandha? It's kind of like fish oil. So here's a bottle. Omega. Three, 6, 9. So it's always like these pills. So for these pills, the reason why they work is in my research for the lack of focus. What happens is that when you give them instructions, they have a Swiss cheese brain. They cannot focus. Omega-369 is what the brain's made of. The brain's made of cholesterol. So when they have omega-3, for example, one of my students, he was a vegetarian. He didn't actually have a lot of omega-3 in his diet because he's always eating vegetables. So what happens when he starts taking omega-3, he's able to listen to the instructions. Among autistic people, it's almost impossible. You have to repeat it like 20 or 30 times, the same fucking instructions, because their brain is not able to absorb, their fish oil because they're lacking this thing. And number two, the thing that I recommend my students is called vitamin D. So they usually have like a vitamin D drop, like this. They have a little bottle like this, and then it's like a dropper. It drops. Okay, but this is vitamin D, or vitamin D. So when you combine, eggs also has omega-3. Eating eggs and stuff is really good because it has protein, it helps them lose weight. At the same time, it helps their brain for autism to absorb. So they're really, really deficient. So most people are deficient in omega-3, of course. That is very, very common. But for these people, they actually have like almost like 5 times as much of a deficiency than the general population. So if they're not taking omega-3, their brain is overheating. Without ashwagandha, their brain is overheating. Without vitamin D, and for some reason, from my research, that vitamin D, the lack of vitamin D, they're more fucked up. They start to act more autistic than ever. So when you combine all 3 of these, the autism reduces the You know, it reduces the emotions, it reduces a lot of these problems, and especially when they're trying to learn stuff. When they learn stuff, they have no like they can't schedule shit. You cannot schedule their workday until I taught one of my autistic students in Elite 30 how to schedule shit. So for him, it was very, very overwhelming at work. The more work he gets, the more he gets overwhelmed. Until I use my scheduling system, which is top secret. I will not teach the world. That's not gonna happen unless you're part of Elite 60. But he was able to get all his work done. He got so much better at work. He was in the middle top rather than the very bottom. They fired a couple of people at his job during the COVID-19. So he still was left because he jumped in skills after being taught by me. And the most important thing about that was he takes all this stuff. He takes all this stuff. And it helps tremendously. You have no idea how much his shit helps tremendously. So now that you start to understand there's a nutritional deficiency among autistic people. I don't know why it's autistic like that, but I don't question it. I don't question it. They have a Swiss cheese brain, and this, you know, reduces that Swiss cheese brain. Okay? So, wicked advice. Sorry to pick your brain, but can I get vitamin D over the counter? You should probably get vitamin D over the counter, but D drop. D drop. So D drops is like kind of like this, like a canister. Okay? Very small. And you can use this as a dropper. You drop like 7 of them into your drinks. So that's 7,000 IU of vitamin D. And this is more like water soluble. So the reason why you take this vitamin D drops is because it actually absorbs much faster than actual pills. You can get vitamin D from milk, but there's not a lot of vitamin D. And this amount, because people are lacking, you can also get it from the sun. So being outside is very important sometimes because you get it through the skin. This is why for Black people and dark-skinned people, they do not absorb as much melanin. Because the darker melanin in the skin, they're not absorbing the vitamin D as quickly. Because the melatonin or melanin in their skin, it creates a dark pigmentation. So therefore, it blocks the sun. So they don't get, a lot of Black people do not have a lot of vitamin D into their system. That's something to think about. But for these guys, when they're not outside, they have the seasonal depression or depressive disorder because the lack of vitamin D. But having this, the ability to drop this into your drink is completely amazing. And of course, not all of them are equal. The more expensive one, I forgot what mine is called. It's Pure something. It's called something Pure. But more expensive. They're more absorbable. They're not all the same, but they all work kind of similar. You can put this in your orange juice, everything, into your milk, whatever, and it boosts your vitamin D dramatically. This is why I recommend the D drops, right? In omega-3 and this. So ashwagandha in the morning, omega-3, 3 times a day. So in the beginning of the morning, you take 2, or you can eat some eggs. And then later around 3 o'clock, you take 2 more. And later on 8 or something, you take 2 more. And then during a drink, you can put like vitamin D in it. And that makes a huge difference in your cognitive abilities. I know it sounds very technical. I can go into like the neuroscience of it. It's not important. All right. So what else is next besides eggs? Yeah, D drops, ashwagandha. And yeah, I think that's really what I want to talk about is how important Elite 30 from hard case to hero is. It's so important. So you got to learn this kind of stuff. I think this concludes a lot of what I want to teach you today. This is the first time anyone has ever talked about autism or Asperger syndrome, high functioning autism. So now we have 2 clusters. Okay. So just like a combination lock. This is the second cluster, and there's going to be like a few more. I'm going to map out the entire genome. So for example, if this is a lock, right? And this is like a combination here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in between, it's just all black here. Right here. And the lock is like here. See that? And then over here is the numbers. 1, 2, 3. So this is like dark tetrad, dark triad, or just like whatever. And the second combination, right? 1, 2, is now autism, Aspergers. The next one is going to be ADD and OCD. The next time I'm on YouTube Live, I want to map out the entire genome. And I'm telling you, for the guys who given me a thumbs down for the first video about sociopathy, about psychopathy, and about dark triad or dark tetrad personality, I can assure you every single detail that I said from teaching 600 or 700 students or whatever, like a lot of students. I don't know how many I've taught over my career since 2013, but they all follow exactly the same motherfucking traits. All of them. Every single one of them. They follow exactly the same traits. There is no genetic variation. There's no genetic variation. And a lot of times I've seen the students, they're like cut and paste of the same students. So when you think about it, easy cases, right? Easy cases, E. They get laid within 3 days or 3 weeks. Normal cases, 3 weeks to 3 months. Hard cases, which is Elite 30, which is very helpful. Around like, they'll pull within like, you know, very quickly. Maybe around 2 weeks of the program to 2 months, but they'll get laid around 3 months. You cut the time from 6 months. Even if you approach for 6 months in a row, you get laid. So taking any 6 months to mastery program is just a waste of time, because eventually you're gonna luck out with your SMV and get laid within 6 months. That does not count. So 3 months, and for impossible cases. For impossible cases, holy shit. Normally it's about 1 year to a few years, but you can shorten it down to 6 months. And that's the thing though, with all these cognitive problems, with autism, tetrad, sociopathy, ADHD, all this stuff, it makes it very hard for the students to get the results as fast as they should be. This is why yelling at the students a lot helps with impossible cases. I yell at them like crazy, like the way you saw me yelling at that black student. Yeah. Thanks for all the content, John. Have you been 18 years, exactly 18 years? So I started in 2001. So in the very first place, I started at a place called Capilano University. Originally, I didn't mean to like do day game, but I saw this fucking chart online, right? This back then we had like Netscape and internet. I went to a forum, so it's called Out Seduction Fast or something. You can see in the About Me page. It's I think it's Ross Jeffrey shit, NLP. That's my very first system. I use it in university. Like I would approach like every girl through every single break and just keep approaching them. But I didn't know that my race mattered at that time. I thought hey, it's all personality, it's all game. Because back then there was no other systems except Mystery Method, which came out in 2003 is when Mystery showed up. And then Ross Jeffries were like arguing, like, no, my concept is correct. No, not my concept's correct. My concept, my concept's correct. They're all just arguing. But I was already there at 2001. I was already approaching. So, yeah, I didn't get any results back then at 2001 when I started because there's no other day game systems at the time. It was really horrible. The rejections that I have received was not even human. Especially when one of the women there, a blonde, I'm a white girl. She told me that she liked what I'm saying, but she's not into Asian guys. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Nowhere in my mind did I believe that my race played a big role. So back then, I didn't know. I didn't think race mattered or height mattered or anything that mattered. Yet you have a classmate who's half Filipino, half white, and he's getting white girls. And you're like, what the fuck? What's happening here? What the fuck? So, yeah, I did. So, not appealing myself, but I still tuned in. Unfortunately, I did lose it quite late, so it's not like a good feeling, but it happens to a lot of dating coaches too. They usually, for a lot of dating coaches, when they lose it a little bit later, they kind of get angry at the world and they kind of want revenge. So they become dating coaches, and once they get their life handled, and then now it's like, fuck you all, right? Fuck you all, fuck you all. It's almost like a way to, yeah. It's almost like in high school, I got rejected so much that I had a social circle. I had female friends, all that stuff. Girls used to like me because I was pretty good looking back then. But however, when I try to cash in and I try to, ask them out, they all friend zone me completely. I was like, what the fuck? So I got pretty angry. So I've been through a lot of hell. Let's just say that. It started in high school. That's the starting point. Okay, and then that's the starting point. Then after that, I went to university to study art, of all things. You probably don't think I'm an artistic type, but I want to study animation. So when I studied animation, I was like, fuck yeah, right? Because I want to be a comic book artist and then eventually animation and 3D animation. But I just kept approaching girls. That's all I did all day. I didn't even fucking study or focus, and I was really bad at the skills of drawing. A lot of my drawings are very dry and very like cold and emotionless. So I'm very technical, but very like there's not much emotions in my drawing. So I was not good at making things move for animation. It was really hard time. Like when I think about it, I don't like talking about it. Like everyone RSD, age 50 years is all messed up. Team love is important. If you miss that out, yeah, that's why I bang so many like girls that are. I hate to say it, but I got my revenge. I just say that I banged like so many girls, and I got my fill. I probably banged more like I banged so many high school girls. It's legal here in Canada, so that's all I gotta say. But that sort of made me feel like a little bit better. I can get over the regret. So when an 18-year-old or 17-year-old student gets results and stuff, I remember a Latino student. He was 17 years old, and he banged like a older woman, but he also got a girlfriend. He same day lay her, and she was 18 or something in high school, and that's how he got his girlfriend. I felt very happy because I could teach the students who are still young to not go through the same pain as I have. So, yeah. And also, when I say he's 18-year-old student, when he loses virginity before high school was over, the 18-year-old guy, I was so happy. That's why I helped him more. I yelled at him a lot, but I helped him more, and he did bang like like a girl in high school. Now he lost his virginity, and he's very, very happy. So that's why he's making a testimonial. He's gonna make an update. I'll be posting a lot of testimonials soon. I got so many testimonials. There's at least another 50 fucking video testimonials. If I read all the screenshots, it's probably over 100, like over 100 testimonials. If I post another boot camp, it'd be another more than 15 or 17 like, trailers. Holy shit. I'm only showing you a very small percentage of my testimonials for 433. Closer to like 450, to be honest. Yeah, it's very important. So for me, I've gotten over that. So yeah, but this is why like a lot of teen love is important. A lot of teenage girls do like me because of the K-pop stereotype and stuff, and they're comfortable around me. So for a dating coach, I probably out of all of them, I probably bang more like those kind of girls than they have, and that's harder. It takes a lot of nerve, and it's legal here. It's legal here. So all I can say about that is fuck you. Most people learning through a social circle, as says true. What's your opinion on seeing doctors for chronic health issues, back, shoulder, hips, heart disease? Why not? Why not? You got to figure out what it is that you're having a problem with. So you can also try naturopathic medicine. For example, if you have a lot of back, shoulder pain, using a back brace. That helps with the back pain. Go to a chiropractor too. Do not neglect the chiropractor. A lot of autistic students, when they get their neck and everything fixed and stuff like that, it helps a lot. So chronic health issue. I think the chronic health issues, all this other stuff, they have a deeper underlying issue. So maybe you have a problem with cortisol. I'm not sure if it's adrenaline. You always feel like a lot of adrenaline. That could wear down your bones for the cortisol. Hope that makes sense. So you can lower your bone density. In myself, I also have like, a little bit lower bone density than usual. That's why I don't age. My bones never change. When I was growing up, my mother did not drink much milk. She drank soup. So I already had like a low bone density when I was born. This is why John always looks like he's fucking 21 to 24 years old, and it fluctuates. Sometimes 25, sometimes it's less. I can change it at will depending on how much I go on a diet. So in some ways, I've never really gotten along with older women. Like in most cases, although I bang a lot of them as much because I look too young, and when I tell my real age, they freak the fuck out. And yeah, I'm not old as some of the other first generation gay gamers, but I am the first generation. So they're just a little bit older than me. I'm older than I look, guys. Nobody knows my real age. Nobody. I don't tell people my real age. I don't physically age at all. I will never age throughout my whole life. You'll see me looking exactly the same. Maybe a few more gray hairs over here, but you see me looking identical. There's no change. So I could be a dating coach forever. But yeah, just telling you guys the truth here. Any more questions? But I hope you guys learned a lot about autism. A lot of this stuff is like, wow, this is like the first time any dating coaches has ever talked about it. But I do know about it so well after making Elite 30 from Hardcase to Hero. And that course is a life-changing, it's like a game changer, because it's not game, it's like social skills and social calibrations. It is the most important course ever. And for impossible cases, they have to learn how to control their emotions. For E, emotional intelligence is not about flirting and trying to say, oh, you got sexy legs, because they might be like a tumor with all this mental illnesses, this comorbidity. They might vibe a very creepy sort of vibe. The wrong frequency, if they don't have high SMV, they're not tall and strong, they will vibe the wrong frequency. So therefore, it's about reducing the emotions. Less is more, so the right emotions come out. So for the students, it's about emotional control. For the ones with autism and stuff, when they learn Elite 60, and even with a neck brace, everything to realign everything, it is all about emotional control, not overheating, and all this stuff all adds to it. Anyways, if there's no more questions, I hope you guys learn a lot. And for those who gave a thumbs down for the first video, like I said, all this stuff is 100% accurate. I've taught so many students, and I got more student results than anyone in the world combined for dating. I've beaten every single coach, and they have nothing compared to mine. Nothing. And this is the information. When I'm telling you all this shit, I want to map out the genome, that DNA code for all the pickup artists in the world. This is about as accurate as it gets. Nobody's ever going to talk about this. And the faster you guys realize all this stuff, the less the RSD can, control you guys like sheeps. The less you get offended, the more you realize things so you can change. I missed on important years of my life. Yeah, I know just a feeling. I have experienced the same thing, but maybe you haven't peaked yet. You haven't reached your potential. So do not feel bad about it. You still got room to grow. The good thing about men compared to women is that women only have like a small window of opportunity from 18 to 30 years old to cash in on their SMV. You, however, for men, you can go in past your 40s and even 50s and still be a day gamer. And it's better when you get older to have more emotional intelligence, better social skills and social calibrations, because I know a lot of naturals who are over 40 years old. They're like 45 or 50 or something. And they're still very good with women, because it's not the game that's the best. It is the emotional intelligence, and also, the body language plays a big role in social skills. That's just why I remember one natural, he just kept talking to everyone to sharpen his social skills. It's like, what the fuck? Why does he talk to everyone? Because he's sharpening his social skills. Some naturals, they have like female friends just to sharpen their social skills, so they feel more comfortable, so they can fix. I can't tell you this. This is top secret technology from the inner circle. This is off the limits to the public. A lot of the things that I'm teaching you, it may be new to you, but everything that I teach, every program has lay testimonials. It's most likely from up there in the universe. The game, it comes from heaven or the universe. And no matter what I teach is always correct. It always leads to lay testimonials. It's almost like I can't get anything wrong if I try. And this is like the truth. All of it's true. All the mental illnesses, I'll go in detail. But all these years of teaching, I see the same students cut and paste. It's almost like a computer program, like the Matrix. Certain people just show up, they act exactly the same. It's almost like you think, oh, well, I have a different race, I have a different body, I have a different... No, it's exactly the same shit. Exactly the same shit. Okay. Could you do a quick optimization supplement substance list? What do you need to optimize? Depends what you need to optimize. But I would say definitely think whey protein for, supplementation. Whey is very absorbable, and protein is very important. That for getting a lot of protein. Iodine. A lot of people have iodine deficiencies, so thyroid problems. You can get some, liquid iodine. Vitamin D is another one that a lot of people don't have. Vitamin C is very important, especially a lot of people are lacking it. Freshly squeezed orange juice is really good. Magnesium, they're missing a lot of magnesium. So there's a magnesium, calcium, magnesium. Ashwagandha is good for a cortisol system. And it's also good for like regulating estrogen, because with ashwagandha, this is very technical, but Omega-369 fatty acids. Our brain is made of fatty acids. It's good to get some fatty acids. Biotin is also good for the hair. You know, even when we get older, biotin sort of restores a lot of the hair, and that's very important too. But yeah, you probably want like a pink salt, Himalayan pink salt. It only costs $2 at the dollar store. That pink salt has, I think around like how many, 56 trace minerals or something like that. A lot, or maybe more, maybe like 64. It has that much trace minerals. And especially people who are vegetarians, a $2 fucking pink salt, Himalayan pink salt, can give you more trace minerals than any fucking vitamins combined. And you can put that with your food. So I would say that's a big one. Get pink salt. So this is like the rough vitamin list that can restore a lot of health problems. And, you know, if you take vitamin, like, you know, once a day, but you want to eat it with food. And when you're taking calcium pills, calcium carbonate, you want to take it with a meal. Calcium carbonate needs a meal to absorb. And having some magnesium helps it too. The ratio. I can get very technical. I'm a very scientific guy. I'm probably more scientific than all the other dating coaches. But I try to explain in a simple way so you guys understand. Because I'm like an Elon Musk, or, you know, like a fucking, like these guys are not scientific at all. Whatever they're telling you is all bullshit. This stuff works. This stuff works for autism. It's field tested. They don't know shit. They think by studying this doctor, they sound technical. No, I am as technical as it comes. If you want me to talk about technical game, holy shit, I could break down every fucking detail of anything. And I probably know more game tactics than all of you combined. All the coaches. I've studied it all. Everyone's game. I could break down everything. It is scary to see how technical Johnny Lee is. John is like a fucking AI. But yeah, that's exactly what I'll focus on. Pink salt, like I said, vitamin D, iodine. I will focus on ashwagandha, omega-3, and whey protein. You'll see a big difference in your life. I'll take whey after you work out 30 minutes, or maybe calcium protein even before you sleep. That stuff is very absorbable. So you have Asperger's, right, John? I don't have Asperger's. I don't have Asperger's. But it seems like it. They say I'm too bright to be Asperger's. But it could be Asperger's. It could be. Sometimes I look a little bit left and right. So I wonder if it's Asperger's during the combination look. I suspect it is probably some kind of Asperger's, maybe. So I'm not sure. But like I said, even though I'm very technical, I can break it down in a very simple way. So therefore, it is more than just Asperger's. So I don't know. I don't know if it's Asperger's, but I did went for a test for Asperger's, and it came up negative, and he kept laughing at me like, John, you're the most bright person that we spoke to in a while. There's no way you have Asperger's. They kept laughing at me like, you think you have Asperger's? Get the fuck out of my office. That's what they think. They're fucking stupid. They actually said that these guys are not bright, and they kept laughing at me. Nobody give me I'm more like OCD, and, you know, I probably have a lot of, I don't know why I have. But if it's Asperger's, it's only a touch of it, like a little tiny bit. But that can be very technical. I just don't show you guys. I mean, I can make Todd Valentine look like a fucking joke. Like I do have 175 IQ. I'm extremely, like, I can think like them. Like, you know, these Elon Musk and these geniuses. But I'd rather talk to people in a calibrate way so they can understand me. I'm not here to show off. And these guys who are like Todd Valentine, they don't know shit about anything. Maybe on the spectrum, I don't know, but I suspect maybe a little bit of Asperger's on the spectrum, but I don't know how much of a spectrum. But I think there is a little bit of, it could be, I don't know. Like I said, it's inconclusive right now because I have never been diagnosed for Asperger's yet. So, but I mentioned that fat loss. I have a gut. The fat loss, the most important thing that leads to fat loss for my students is protein. Almost most of the fat people, a lot of them are vegetarians. They don't have enough protein. Protein actually shuts off the hunger. So what happens is that long story short, you should actually listen to your body of what it's telling you. So there are times when you feel like eating a steak or a lot of beef or something. That's usually when you're lacking in the protein. So this is why I say supplementation of protein is important. Protein for my Elite 60 student he was losing a lot of weight. Number two, he was using a Total Gym. I have a Total Gym right here. He got one from like, you know, less than $50 from Craigslist. And after that, after Craigslist, he was using a medium weight. So he's doing a lot of workout with medium weights. And after that, when he's using that, right, he's like, he was mixing it with the Krav Maga. So he's doing a lot of cardio afterwards. And then the longer the cardio, the more he loses weight. So the formula I found out for him is not heavier weights, because he's always trying to be like a power lifter, a little bit chubby. You want to lose a dramatic amount of weight. You want to use medium weight, but you want to go for a long time, like an hour, like a HIIT sort of thing, high interval, whatever training, over and over at a medium low weight at the Total Gym, and then later on do a lot of cardio, because he might have a mesomorph sort of frame. Like I said, I can be very technical about this stuff. It's not important, but that's how you lose weight. And plus, you always feed the hunger exactly when you're missing it. For example, you might feel like you need to be outside in the sun, so you have a vitamin D deficiency. So rather than filling your body with junk food, for example, you might feel like you want to eat chips and stuff, potato chips. So you have this sort of mineral deficiency, because when you have a mineral deficiency, you go for the pink salt. So you try to match, from what I've discovered, from what I figured out, you try to match the exact thing that you're having a deficiency in. You listen to the body to keep on the line. Does that make sense? Shit, now I'm starting to sound like a fucking Aspie. But yeah, I can be very technical, but my voice is not like, you know, monotone or up there, like screechy. But I do have like their thinking patterns, the narrow focus, but of every field. It's not just one field. It's not just day game. I understand a lot about most topics. I'm pretty like old, so I have a lot of time to study, a lot of time to field test. But that's exactly what I'll be doing. I will 100% focus on whey protein. So you take casein protein at night, so you don't lose the muscle mass. And during the morning, I will intermittent fast. And when the body's getting really hungry, at that point, throughout the day, you're gonna starve yourself for the minerals. That's why the students take whey protein and omega-3. If you have French fries, like sort of, you feel like eating French fries, eat 3 omega-3s in a row. You cannot eat French fries, guys. Seriously, you cannot eat French fries. You eat 3 omega-3s, like, oh, where's my craving? It's gone. Like, holy shit. So that's exactly it. Give the body what it is craving. If you guys really, really wanted to break it down, because when I was trying to look more like a K-pop guy, and I had to lose a lot of weight to be 135 pounds, I knew exactly how to pair the nutritional deficiencies with what you feel like your body needs at that particular time. I remember teaching my ex-girlfriend exactly the same thing. She's a white girl, half Russian and whatever, but she was always like not eating a lot, and she was like copying me. It's kind of fucked up. So for her, that's not very good that I taught her that, but I've lost a lot of weight. That's when I look more K-pop back then. So does it get easier to get laid after you get laid after the first time? It really depends on your SMV. A lot of people think once you get laid the first time, then it's easier the second, third time. So, but you still need to work on the social skills and social calibrations, because you can lose that, but your vibe improves. Does that make sense? When you get laid, your emotions, you feel better. You feel less needy, and the frustration, it compounds together. So the more frustrated you get over time, right? If you're not getting laid, then you start to become more autistic. You start to feel like your system is more like, or whatever. But that's just how it is. So no, it does not mean automatically it's easier. It is only easier because of the emotions. That's it. And then you have to still have some kind of game, some kind of social skills and social calibrations. You can't lose that, but it improves your body language. After you get laid, your chest sticks out a lot more, right? And then you're happier and your vibe is better. So those two improve a lot. Your social skills, if you work on that, it just makes everything easier. So it's not all game. It's not all game. Because if you have lower SMV, let's say you were a short, like Vietnamese guy, you got that laid, that's great. But the next one, you may feel more confident for a while. But over time, because the lower SMV, the emotions are better, but you still need to have enough value, 20 out of 35. Hope that makes sense. So always work on boosting your value and social skills. And yes, you have to make sure that you bottle it up after you get laid, that emotion. You need to bring it out of you. You gotta be like very happy and shit. And women like that shit. So yeah, that's what I recommend. How do you keep busy during the social distancing in a constructive way? You mean what have I been doing? How do you keep busy? As in, like what I'm doing here, studying a lot of high income skills. So I always work on my skill index. So I'm working on copywriting. I want to make sure I can write better sales letters. So I spend all my time working on that. I can hyper focus. You get bored because of the ADD or ADHD, which is the next video. Hope that makes sense. If you guys like this, give it a thumbs up. I'm going off topic now. I'm going way off topic. So I've been reading some books about sales letters and stuff, you know, trying to improve it. So it's very important. I did a lot of reading, a lot of studying. And there's a good book for you guys to read, Influence. Because RSD, this is their playbook on gaming you guys. They know exactly, like RSD, they know that you guys are autistic, and they know that you guys are, not Aspergers, but mostly autism. They know not to offend you. They know the whole playbook. So they know how to sound like very, very caring and stuff like this. Hey guys, get like RSD Max. Hey guys, whatever RSD Max. Hey, get this, guys. Get this. Those are get this. They also have the same expressions. Get this, right? I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I don't want to offend you guys. This is the second one. Then it's like, hey, they charm the sheeps. The reason they're charming the sheeps is because they cannot read the facial expressions, the evil sort of face. I'm Pennywise. I'm RSD Tyler. They cannot see that shit. They cannot see that shit. So they know how to game you guys. Because remember what the other red pill video is like, oh, these guys are hurt. Any book on social skills and calibrations for Asperger guys? None that I know of. Just Elite 30. The guys who write these kind of shit usually are Aspergers themselves. In the scientific community, don't really know how to explain it. And guys who are very good with social skills, they don't actually know how to explain it. It's almost like it's a playbook of social skills, right? And everybody knows it growing up, except you guys. So for some reason, they don't want to explain it to you. You make one mistake. In the book of social skills, everyone isolates you. That's the secret. When you break the rules. So a lot of the social skills is about small talk. It's not the most important topic. That's why TV shows like Seinfeld or Friends, right? They talk about nothing, but they're connecting. They're building a rapport, and they want to see if they fit in with the tribe and whether or not they will hang out. So they're always judging you by the social status, and by the small talk is vibing it. And this is what a lot of PUAs do not understand, because they cannot change their tonality when they speak. You can't be like, hey, how's it going, Rachel? Well, that's great. But, you know, I've been going down this. Oh, yeah, I'm making that social skills, that tonality. They cannot hit. The PUAs cannot hit this. And I had one student who's autistic. He does not know it, a Vietnamese guy. He kept sending me audios of him practicing copying Friends. And he sounds nothing like it. He sounds backwards, almost like the opposite. He did it 6 times in a row. It's Swiss cheese brain. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. Autistic people, usually unconscious incompetence, but they don't know it. They have a 1D mind. That's why they're not bright. And because I'm so bright, that's why I didn't get a diagnosis for like Asperger's or autism. I wanted a diagnosis. I was begging a guy, please diagnose me with something. And it's like, yeah. And it's like, there's nothing. Like, and you see that Asperger's guy, like you work in the tech field. A lot of my students work in the tech field. A lot of people do sound very Asperger's like. It's really annoying. The way they speak, they'll dress in a very functional way. They're dressed in a very functional way. They don't overdress. They kind of have a bad fashion sense. And when they speak, they sound like this, right? The guys with Asperger's, they talk like this, and they have no like public speaking experience, and they get off on concepts. They really enjoy speaking about concepts, and they get overjoyed, and that's how the technical people, they speak kind of like this, like in their tonality, and that's what they're Asperger. They try and explain things, and they can barely modulate their voice, and it just makes you want to punch them in the fucking face. Am I right? Am I right? They all speak like that. So this is like the neuroscientists, like the fucking scientific people, all that stuff. They sound like this, and they just like, no matter what they're saying, it's just they're the worst public speakers ever, and you don't understand why. They're just so annoying. Their tonality does not go up or down, and they work in a technical field. And a lot of people who are Asperger's, they're very much in their left brain. They're always having these logical concepts and shit. And a lot of the deludedness from the dark tetrad mixed with Asperger's or autism, they're very technical, but it's always wrong because the left brain's diluted. Swiss cheese. All the concepts are wrong. So their whole life gets worse and worse. So they need to switch over to the right brain. The side that's good at drawing, the side that's more abstract. If there are no more questions, I gotta get going. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if I have Asperger's or not, but it sounds like it, but I'm not really sure. I don't think so, but I don't have all of their traits. I only have one of their traits, which is narrow focus. But I can focus on every topic. I know like every topic. Nutrition, this, that, all that shit. So I don't always make the best eye contact like them. They move their eyes left and right a lot. So it could be, but I don't think so. So anyways, any more questions? But most PUAs have a cluster. So my one's probably a little bit more Asperger's on the third one or second one. I'm not a sociopath. So you'll learn ADHD, OCD, and then last like cluster, delusional depression. You'll learn more in the next one. So if there's no more questions, I'm gonna just end this. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of today's class. This is like a mind opening, and I will stand behind the first class, which is dark triad, dark tetrad. And now you mix these two together. I would say it's the most accurate thing that anyone has ever spoke about for sociopathy. It is down to a science now. And you'll see all the students have these things, all the PUAs. This is what makes them creepy. And now you know that RSD can no longer deceive you because they're trying to not offend the autistic sheep. So everyone who's a sheep that has to worship, they're usually like fucking autistic. You know, a lot of Indians, like for example, dark triad, dark tetrad, but very emotional, autistic. I've noticed among the students. So for them, I would say they're almost all autistic. Not all Indians, but a lot of them are like, not all of them, but majority of them, the emotional ones, almost all autistic. So let's see. Cool. Sure. Send. Okay. Please send the video to my Google Drive. It's just my video editor. So normally I edit my own videos, but all the cool trailers and stuff you see future bootcamp clips will be edited by him. He's one of the very best video editors in this entire country. So here's the email. So I'm sending this course over to the guy who fucked me over after he edited. It's kind of like Judas fucking over Jesus for $2.2 million in fucking 3 weeks. I'm gonna send him the course. It's kind of like, here's your fucking silver coins. And that guy's very autistic too. You repeat the instructions 50 times, plus dark tetrad, they're very evil. So the last thing I want to talk about before I go is this a new concept. And I'll be talking about this in the future. IQ means how deluded you are. IQ. EQ is your emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, and spiritual IQ. Okay? IQ. So for that student, he has dark tetrad, also with autism, and plus he has an evil spirit. When you have an evil side, it usually contaminates the emotions, and it contaminates the delusions that autistic people have. They're delusional as fuck. Hope that makes sense. Emotional. Hitler was very delusional and emotional. He's probably autistic and sociopathic and dark tetrad. So if a student's evil and they're power hungry, I will not train them in the future. But yeah, the IQ affects the delusions. A lot of delusional students, guys. Impossible cases, I never trained impossible cases before. Usually, I tell them to fuck off. Do not ask me for training. Fuck you, you're delusional. But now, I've been able to train them. I got better at coaching. And now you can see a lot of the autistic students getting results. It's a miracle. Even that 18-year-old guy, although he's good looking, a white guy, it's a miracle because he's so resistant. Swiss cheese brain, and he has to take all this shit to help him focus. So just because he's good looking, when you have autism, the woman gets turned off. A lot of people in the black pill community, black pillars, a lot of them are autistic, almost all of them. Plus, their belief system is really fucked up. So they're delusional, and their emotional snowflake. Fuck, I want to scratch my Rolex. Okay, maybe it's like, I'd be careful. They're emotional snowflake cunts, and they also have a low spiritual IQ. They're evil people, and they're delusional. All this stuff compounds into like a tumor or a cancer. So autism is very dangerous. Women are very scared of autistic traits. If you show autistic traits in your Instagram, let's say, for example, you want DHV with an Instagram. If you have autistic traits like head tilts and this Yao Ming face, it will fucking kill your Instagram. So usually I have to like un-Yao Ming their face. I'll use Photoshop. I'll fix these things to make them smile. They're usually like angry looking, or they're very like head tilt like this. And they're standing next to a woman. They always have a hand around her. Like they have no fucking social awareness. And she's always like this, like a fake smile. And the other women can see it, but they cannot see it because they cannot read facial expressions. Because to them, it's just a woman smiling. She's like creeped out like fuck. She's like, yeah, hands around me. Oh, great. She's signaling to the other women how creepy this guy is. If they don't see it, it's like, I'm Pennywise. Yes, I look like a smiling clown, like, and the eyes are crooked. That's how they're like. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the class. Next time, we'll talk about ADD and what's the other one? Fuck. The depression? No, it's ADHD and something else. I forgot, but yeah, we'll cover the next one. So. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this class. And yeah, I treat all the students like they're almost like Aspergers, hard case, impossible case, autism, dark triad, all of them. Dark tetrad, so. Dark tetrad, evil, Swiss cheese brain. They never follow instructions like the cake, ever. So the cake never rises. Cortisol, overly emotional. This helps them focus. Combination lock, all of them together. Social skills, social calibrations, elite 30. Emotional intelligence is affected by autism. Going through everything. And also the lack of facial expressions, monotone or switch your voice up here. Like, hey guys, I'm Justin. Narrow focus. It's not like I'm narrow focused. I know every topic. So it's not like I'm so hyper focused on game and that's the only thing I think about. Although that is my field. But any field I go to, I can become an expert in being a top number one within a short amount of time, if I wanted to. If a guy made $2.2 million in 3 weeks, right? Imagine he fucked me over for 12 weeks with a low fucking spiritual IQ. That would be $24 million. He would pocket all the money, his partners and stuff. They'll pocket all the money and they just don't even pay me. That's how they think. That's PUAs. They think like that. This is not a theory. It's not a theory. This is all real. All of them think the same fucking way. All of them think exactly the same way. Anyways, see you in the next class. I don't see any more questions. I'll put a link for Elite 30 or something later, or on my new site. You can check it out. I don't know how good my site looks like. JohnEliteDating.com. I'm making it right now in real time. I'm not a website designer. I don't pay other people to do it. My marketing is completely me. I don't know much about marketing, but I'm learning. So, see. Do you have the next video? I'll send you the next bootcamp clip for you to make a trailer very soon. There's many students, so there's gonna be way too many students. Should I send you the entire bootcamp clips? Maybe I'll do that, but I'll just send you the existing one so far, and then you can edit. Yeah, my video editor. So he's the one who made the 3-lay bootcamp one. Remember how I was like, this guy, John Elite, or he's the man or whatever of the hour. Like 3 lays. That guy, that student, his trailer was made by this guy. Really awesome. Okay. Anyways, I gotta get going. give it a thumbs up if you guys want more. And for the other video, please watch the other video. And maybe if it's like going too fast, like it's too much information, just play at 2 times speed. So, okay, excellent. Excellent. I gotta get going. My stomach hurts. I'm not feeling that good. So hope you guys learned a lot. 8 thumbs up right now. You want more, give it more thumbs up so I know that you guys actually want to see more. So yeah. See you later. End. Should end now.